In this episode of Fictional Hangover, we talk about being concerned about frog opinions, learning about frogs' ears, deciding whether you would rather wallow or frolic, and getting further proof the doors are the villains in our discussion of Adrift in Currents Clean and Clear by Seanan McGuire. Hey everybody, welcome to Fictional Hangover, a podcast about young adult and new adult, and sometimes other books, series, authors, voice actors, and illustrators that is full of spoilers. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire. And today we're going to discuss Adrift in Currents Clean and Clear by Seanan McGuire.
Standard disclaimer. Remember, if you want to help us out and be a part of our episodes, record yourself doing standard disclaimer and share it with us. Standard PSA. Standard disclaimer. If you haven't read this book, please remember that Fictional Hangover is all about spoilers. If you haven't read or listened and don't want to be spoiled, stop listening to us and go read or listen to the book. Then come back. If you haven't done this but want to pretend that you have, or if you don't care about spoilers, or if you just like the show so much that you don't care about any of that, then listen up.
Yeah. We're going back through the doors.
I know.
To the way with children.
I know, but it's because of our theme for the month. Stop procrastinating. This book came out in January.
Oh my god, how bad are we?
We're procrastinating.
We're procrastinating, but have you seen the length of time some books have been on my TBR pile?
That's true.
Ooh.
That's true.
This is a minor ripple.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually feel okay about this one.
Yeah. I feel like we've just done our initial thoughts.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Let's backtrack a second and get some background information.
Okay. Yeah, I tried for a long time to find anything like super relevant to Wayward Children and Adrift in Currents Clean and Clear, but with an author like Seanan McGuire, who writes 1,000 things under 1,000 different pseudonyms, it's hard. It's hard to find things. And so instead, I just spent time on her Patreon, because she has a Patreon that has like free stuff like we do. Spoiler alert. But I just spent a long time there reading things that are posted for free. So go and support Seanan McGuire on Patreon.
Cool. After you've gone and supported Fictional Hangover on Patreon.
Right. Fictional Hangover first, and then Seanan McGuire.
Yeah. I mean, not to be mercenary, but give us your money. It's not a shakedown, because, this is a recording. But
right. Still. We can't physically shake people until all their change falls out.
Yeah. But bear in mind that if we come to your house, we are checking the sofas for loose change.
Yeah, I mean, all we gotta find is $1.
Yes.
And that gets almost everything. So, anyway. It's fine.
I'm in the kind of mood where the slightest thing is going to probably make me laugh like it's the most hilarious joke in the world ever. So, no, that's probably going to happen.
I'm excited because I am not in that mood right now.
I think it's because I'm tired.
See, that's the reason why I'm not, because I'm tired.
Oh, I think the dumbest things are going to be the funniest.
I can't wait. I'm
excited to find out.
Yeah. Because, like, in the nicest way possible, these books, like, aren't funny. They're just good. No. They're just good. So there's not a whole lot that we can...
nothing comedic about these books.
No.
This book especially is rather sad, actually.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay. Before we reveal too much, let's get into the summary.
Okay, let's do it. A baby is born in a hospital in Russia to a girl who is not much more than a baby herself. First sad thing. Do we need to just keep a sad tally this time?
Oh, hold on. I'm getting I'm getting your thing up.
First sad thing.
Second... Oh, that's a calendar, Claire. Oh my god. This tells you how tired I am. I'm just going into any old random app.
It's great.
Please continue.
Okay. Second sad thing. She doesn't want the child. She never wanted it. And third sad thing, 3 sad things in a row. She wants it even less when she sees that it is missing part of its right arm. All the sadness just piled right there in 2.5 sentences.
3 or 4?
I mean, I was saying 3, but if you don't want the child and never wanted the child, that could be 2 separate entities.
0.5 to half.
The young mother flees the hospital, and the nurses send the baby, whom they say is perfect just as she is, called Nadezhda Sokolov, nicknamed Nadia, to an orphanage. Now, I'm not going to say the orphanage is sad, because if we didn't go to the orphanage this time, where would we be?
Orphanages are a
safe,
necessary system.
Yeah.
And I think it's subjective.
Yeah.
I remember in the 90s, it used to be videos of orphanages and terrible conditions and all this stuff.
And the Sarah McLachlan music playing.
Yeah. So, ew. But not all of them are like that.
Right.
So it's subjective.
Yeah.
Anyway. As the years pass in the orphanage, Nadia always pushes her brothers and sisters ahead of her in line with prospective parents come by. We're making them all seem amazing and deserving of families while she fades into the background. She knows if she is a good girl, her real mother will surely come back for her. Sad thing. So she is the best she can be, even though she spends her free time wallowing in a shallow river behind the orphanage.
I think if we had chosen a different word than wallowing, maybe not as sad. Frolicking. Not sad.
It's just not frolicking.
Wallow?
Though.
Frolic. Yeah.
Wallow versus frolic.
Would you rather? One day, Nadia brings a sick tortoise in. Sad. And though pets are not allowed, sad, she somehow manages to keep him, tending to him and helping him heal, and then giving him to a family, sad, when they take one of her siblings away with them. A few more years pass, and when Nadia is 9, a group of missionaries from the United States come and take Nadia away with them. That's like 1,000 sad things.
Can I just put 2 for sadness on that one?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. Nadia has a new family in Colorado, and they seem perfectly nice. The father takes her to a pond to see some turtles because the matrons of the orphanage said she likes them. The mother is upset when they return from the turtle walk because she was at the grocery store and didn't get to go with them. So obviously the new daughter will love her father more.
Sad?
Pathetic logic.
Yeah, but sad because the mother is pathetic.
I don't think it's a sad count. I don't think
it's not even a half a sad? No. Okay, it's fine. Some time passes, and Nadia learns English through classes at the family's church, and how to lose her Russian accent, which is what her new mother prefers. Can we get a sad on that one?
You get 2 on that one.
She's enrolled in school and making friends and helping the other kids learn to be kind in their own ways. Then, one day, Nadia is taken to see a doctor. The doctor looks at her arm and takes some measurements for a prosthesis, but Nadia isn't interested in having a hand to replace the one she is missing because she's perfectly fine without it. Her parents insist. And soon enough, Nadia has a prosthetic forearm and hand, but the hand doesn't do anything. I don't like any of this.
No. Nadia doesn't like it either. Well, she doesn't like the prosthetic and how all her schoolmates stare at her because of it, and it's like she's a new toy. They aren't purposely being mean, but it bothers Nadia all the same. They invite her to play dodgeball now that she has 2 hands and can join in, but she just gets pelted with balls and is unable to do much to dodge them, never having played before and only just now having a new useless hand to use. She spends the rest of the day at school seething and then goes home to her mother, who is disappointed because Nadia isn't over the moon about her new arm. It really upset me, actually, where she came home and she's trying to tell Mum about her day, and she's like, I'm not bothered about that, just, well, how did everybody else like your arm?
It was gross.
It was horrible.
This mother is horrible.
I don't even want to use the term mother for her, because she's not being a mother.
No, she's not. Ugh. Ugh. There was like...
She's a provider.
Yeah. Unnecessary provider. Nadia asks her unnecessary provider if she can go out to the turtle pond. And while she's out there, she sees that someone has rudely carved letters on one of the turtle's shells. Sad thing. Not only is it strange that someone has written on a turtle, but what's even stranger is that it's written in Russian. The letters spell "be sure," and we all know what that means. And as Nadia looks more closely at the turtle, she sees what appears to be a door forming in the clear water of the pond. Curious, she looks closer, but then she slips and falls through the door.
Nadia falls into a river that she's never seen before, and there's another one right behind her, and it's flowing backwards?
That's weird.
How very strange. As she tries to figure out where she is by looking at the river and the trees and the clouds, a giant freaking frog falls from the sky. Like, this thing is motherfudging huge. It's the biggest frog Nadia has ever seen. And, it eats her prosthetic. Funniness! Yeah, we found the hilarity! Yay! Terrified it's going to eat her too, fair, Nadia runs off into the forest just beyond the rivers. Just beyond the riverbed.
Nadia wanders through the forest, scared and starving, and she finally breaks down in tears, worried that she will never get home, and that if she ever does, she'll be in lots of trouble for getting dirty and for a frog eating her arm.
Mom, yeah, frog ate my arm.
But did he like it? Did the frog like your arm?
Did the frog like the arm?
That's all that matters to me. Frog opinions.
I'm gonna have to go mute myself and laugh while you carry on.
As Nadia sits crying, a fox named Artyom approaches her and leads her through the woods, helps her find things to eat, and takes her to a place where human people often meet. The people that they find are fishers and offer to take Nadia and Artyom to the harbor, but Artyom declines, offering to come back if Nadia ever needs him.
Nadia gets on the boat and realises it's being pulled by something she can't see. The fishers sing songs that are somehow familiar to Nadia, and they ask her about travelling through her door. She explains about seeing the turtle with Boo Sure on its back, and how she was sure she wanted to help him, which to Belreka is sure enough. They call her Drowned Girl, and even though they say she is not a time for heroes, whatever that means, they offer to take her to the harbour master, who knows everything about everything. But we've already met Drowned Girl before.
I know. The fishers continue their work, and at the end of the day, they travel underneath the water, which scares Nadia until she realizes she can breathe there.
Ooh.
She sees the boat is being pulled by a giant turtle, and she meets another little one on the boat. They have a conversation, which is confusing at first, but she enjoys it. She learns from the other human people on the boat about traveling through doors, and it really seems like she's supposed to be here in Belreka, like she belongs here. They stop in the harbor town, and Nadia meets the harbor master.
The harbour master, Ivan, tries to explain Beloraka, how it has light and breathable waters and heavy sailing waters, and about being a drowned girl to Nadia, and it makes as much sense as anything else, but she accepts it quickly. He also talks about the doors, how they're open for people who are sure, and that children who are not called to be heroes or are lonely might be sure for a time, but they also might be called back through the doors to the land they come from. Nadia is sure she wants to be in Beloraka, and she's sure that she wants to meet the turtles who live there and choose people as their companions. But first, Ivan suggests she rest. I want to meet a turtle companion.
Me too. The next day, one of the women Nadia met on the boat, Ina, comes to talk to Ivan about adopting Nadia into her home because she's pretty sure they came from the same world. He allows this, making sure Nadia is okay with it first. Notice we haven't had many sad things happen since coming to Beloraka.
I blame the evangelicals.
Same. So now the new little family goes to meet the turtles. There's a turtle pond with turtles of all sizes, and they begin chatting at Nadia immediately. She finds one, Burian, that's a little bigger than the incessantly chatty ones, but he doesn't think Nadia will want him to choose her because he is damaged. His shell is broken, and he won't be able to carry ships for a long, long time, if ever.
Time passes, and one day Nadia meets a mean boy who pushes her off a high dock because, to his family, she is someone who came from another world to take all the rights and jobs of people who have lived in Beloraka their entire lives.
I feel like we need to add 2 sads, because Burian is sad. And 2... Racism is sad.
Nadia holds onto the dock, but with her single hand, while Burian knocks the boy off too. Unfortunately, he grabs her legs so he doesn't fall, but it makes it really difficult for Nadia to hold on. Suddenly, she reaches up and pulls herself up with her right arm, the one she doesn't have. Nadia freaks out, understandably so. But the boy tells her the river has blessed her and she accepts the river's gift. The harbour master and Burian come to find Nadia and the boy, Alexei, chatting as friends.
Imagine having a surprise hand.
Surprise hand?
That's made of river water.
How do you clean it?
It's already clean. It's a self-cleaning hand.
I imagine she has to put a Brita filter.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe she has to filter it. Time passes again, and Burian comes to Nadia when she is what she imagines to be about 19. He has grown enough to be fitted with a saddle, so he and Nadia can become scouts for Beloraka. They travel up to the forest where Nadia arrived, which she now knows is called the Flooded Forest, and met Artrum, and she wants to see if he's still there. He isn't, of course. Many years have passed after all, but Nadia learns from the fox's grandson that he was eaten by a giant frog. Sad.
What a dick. What a dick. I mean, circle of life and all that, but still.
Sad.
Nadia and Burian go back home after their day of exploring, and Nadia is greeted with a party to celebrate her coming of age. The family discusses being wary of the flooded forest where wolves and bears roam, which Burian wouldn't easily be able to protect Nadia from. Normally scouts go up or down the river, not into the forest. Alexei is still with them, joining them for meals for years and years, and after they eat and celebrate, Nadia and Alexei go for a walk. They decide that they would like to spend the rest of their time together. Alexei becoming a farmer with a market stall, and Nadia and Burian scouting.
As they walk, hand in river hand. I wanted to say that it was freshly filtered, but then my brain shut down and it wouldn't say those words. Alexei tells Nadia of another place where his father came from, where instead of turtles, they had river otters as companions, but that place was overtaken by the giant frogs, leaving Alexi's father feeling resentful of just about everything. Sad?
Yeah.
While Alexei grew, his family didn't teach him anything useful, sad, or feed him sad, and instead taught him to be jealous and mean. But he's no longer that person and wants to work hard and have a family, born or rescued with Nadia.
Nadia and Alexei get married and move into their own little home. They spend their first night together learning each other's bodies and sleep tangled together in each other's arms. The next day there brings a horrible storm, the worst one since before Nadia came to Beloreka. The rain falls like knives, heavier than the river water, and soon Nadia spots a woman falling from the farms above. She plummets down through the deeper parts of the river, and Nadia dives after her.
They fall down, down, down to nearly the bottom of the river, where the water is too heavy to breathe. Nadia tries to kick her feet, hoping to stop them from reaching the very bottom, but it doesn't really help. She sees the mountain that her city is built upon and reaches for it, trying to stop their fall, when suddenly her river hand forms a sort of rope that she is able to use to climb. The rescued woman comes to, terrified and screaming, but finally stops enough to listen to Nadia and hold on to her as they climb.
They make it back, and of course everyone has been worried, but Nadia couldn't let someone fall and not try to save them. Nadia goes home worried that Alexei will be angry with her, but he knew he married an explorer and was only worried that she'd be okay. She checks on Burin, who wanted to come help rescue her, but was unable to leave the turtle sanctuary where he lives because there are giant fish at the bottom of the river who could eat him whole. How freaking big must those fish be? Giant feels like an understatement.
Yeah, ugh, scary. I don't know.
No.
Which is bigger, the fish or the frog?
Well, let's check. Nadia didn't know that, but she is thankful that her turtle is safe, and that she is too, because she thankfully didn't see or was eaten by a giant freaking fish.
Yes, thank goodness. The two of them decide to go back up to the flooded forest, because surely now it will be even more flooded, and they will be able to explore more easily. Nadia wants to find the other city where Alexei came from, and bring back new goods and information for the others. Instead, they find a giant frog. Perhaps the same giant frog who ate Alexei's city and Artrum and probably her arm. It tries to eat them, but Nadia uses her water arm to stop it from hurting her friend. Her arm becomes a sword and she cuts the frog's tongue. Unfortunately, it's not finished with them yet and attacks again. Nadia is flung off Burin and screams for him to get away as she stabs her sword arm into the frog's ear. It sinks below as Nadia floats away to a sort of threshold or to a door. On the other side, she wakes up, a young kid again, nearly drowned in the turtle pond. Sad.
How many sads is that one?
That's like 100 sads.
100.
I mean, realistically, if we're just counting, that's one sad. But that one sad equals a lot of sads.
I mean, we did give multiple sads to certain situations.
That's true, but I think adding 100 sads might be a little exaggerated.
We'll go for 10 sads.
10 sads, yeah. One for every year that she lost. Because she was like 9 or 10, and now she's like 19 or 20. So yeah, 1 sad per year.
We're in 32 and a half sads.
That's a lot of sads. This book's not very long.
No, not at all. That's a heck of a lot of sads.
Yeah.
Feeling sad now.
Me too.
I just need to think about being concerned by frogs' opinions.
Everyone think either about being sad or the opinions of frogs while we take a very...
would you rather wallow or frolic?
True. Think about those things, and we are going to take a very short break.
Have you ever read a book and thought, wow, I would love to see this on the screen? Well, the Adapt Me podcast is for you. Hi, I'm Emily Malik, host of the Adapt Me podcast, and with a guest every episode, we take a look at books that have never been adapted, why that's so, and how we would go about translating it to a different medium. We talk about any novel from the serious to the downright silly, as long as it hasn't had an adaptation. So come and take a listen to the Adapt Me podcast on wherever you get your podcasts.
Short break achieved.
I would like to say, goddamn bloody stupid bloody doors.
I know.
God damn
they
it.
are the bad guys.
They are.
Why? Why?
Why? Exactly, why? Why, goddamn it, why? Explain to me why. You can't, because it can't. It's not logical. It's
Like,
do you know, it's so distressing. She was an adult. She experienced adult physical relations. She had a husband, and she was, you know, a responsibility, and
she
now
had a
she's
husband,
9
she
again.
had a job, she had a house.
She was happy.
She was happy.
She had friends. She had autonomy. She had people understanding who cared about her, didn't ridicule her and belittle her or try to eradicate her culture. And now she's 9.
And now she's 9 again.
I can't wrap my head around having adult experiences but then being in a 9-year-old's body. It's not like watching a Tom Hanks, was it Big or whatever? It's not like watching those type of things.
No.
It's this was Nadia's life, and it's been ripped out of her by those freaking doors.
Yeah. Not okay.
Not okay at all.
The doors are the villains.
The doors are the villains. Do we need any more evidence? It's just piling up, constantly piling up.
Yeah.
It's not as if she wanted to go back. She didn't. She was in her place.
Yeah. And she never, like, in every other instance, I feel like the person on the other side of the door has thought, like, for 1/2 of 1 second, oh, I wonder what so-and-so's up to back on the other side of the door. And then, bam.
Yeah.
They're pushed back through. But she just killed a giant frog? Like, is it because she accidentally became a hero? And then the Bellyrecca was supposedly done with her because she did her hero duty, and so then it pushed her back through. But that sucks.
That sucks as well. Oh, you've done what you needed to do. Go away. Bye.
Yeah.
No. I don't get it.
I don't either.
I need the door logic explained. And I don't want the door logic to be there is no logic, because that doesn't.
No, I need there to be
anything.
I need there to be an actual rule about the doors.
Yeah. But yes, the doors are the villains, 100%.
Yeah.
Proof again.
So, focusing just on this story, minus the doors being jerks, I really liked this story.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I like Nadia. I liked her when we saw her, when we were introduced to her many, 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 many books ago. And I like seeing her experience.
I don't remember Nadia coming in. When did she come in?
She was already there.
Was she already in school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was already there.
Wow, I do not remember her. Interesting.
She was chilling with the turtles in a turtle pond when who's her face fell from her candy world.
Suki.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was hanging out there.
Yes. Yes. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
And I feel like she was in another one.
But she's minor, and she's been a minor enough character that it's about time we had her story.
Yes, for sure. But then that makes me just double down on the fact that we don't have Christopher's story. And Christopher is a huge character, and we only have a little tiny story with him in it. I need a whole entire novella of Christopher. And the same with Cade, but according to all of information everywhere across the internet, Cade's story is supposedly going to be the last one. And I believe that Seanan has said that she can't tell that story until the readers are ready for it. So,
interesting.
Yeah. But, Cade. But we're not talking about Cade and Christopher right now.
Not.
Talking about Nadia.
I like Nadia.
I really liked meeting Burian. Burian was super cute.
I want a little giant turtle. I want a giant turtle friend.
A little giant turtle friend.
Yes. Like, we could become as big as, like, giant boats. And I'm like, I want a giant boat-sized turtle.
Right, of course. I really felt like when Nadia dove down to rescue the farmer woman, that I was also unable to breathe while they were sinking down, like, oh no.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Oh no, it was stressful.
I didn't like that. Yeah, I'm very wary. I've become very wary of water in my old age.
Oh.
Well, there was a water park incident, and you know, when something happens, and you kind of like, right, now I have a logical, it is a fear, I suppose, but it's not a phobia, but it's a strong respect for.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, don't like that. I mean, we've talked about it before, how we don't like deep water because bad things live there. You can't see anything, you can't breathe.
Yeah.
There was giant freaking fish down there. We didn't know about that.
No, thank you.
I am always surprised that anglerfish aren't as big as you expect. They're only tiny.
No, they're like this big.
I thought they were much bigger.
No, they're this big.
No, I honestly thought they were like football sized.
Tiny little twinkle lights.
Yeah, I'm like, I can go up against you. I thought you were bigger than that. I could take you in a fight.
Yeah. Would you rather fight an anglerfish?
Or giant cod. Oh, they're huge.
Yeah, no, I'll fight a tiny anglerfish. Thank you. Sword arm was amazing.
Yes, when she got that arm, I was like, okay, so what's going to happen now? What cool things can it do? It's made of water. Water's like malleable in effect. And then there was that rope. I was like, yes, put yourself up, yes. And cutting off the frog's tongue was very epic.
Yeah, and then stabbing him in the ear. Also epic. And also letting...
Where's the frog's ear?
I imagine it's somewhere on the side of its head, and it's probably a hole. Small ear hole.
Well, I suppose on a regular sized frog, it would be a tiny little hole.
Yeah. But if you're a giant frog...
It's going to be a gaping chasm.
Is it the size of an anglerfish or a giant cod? It makes.
I've just googled where is a frog's ear. It's not really a hole. It's like a vibraty bit. It's like almost like a patch.
Oh, perfect for stabbing with a sword arm.
Yeah, it looks like. It's called a tympanum. Tympanum.
Well, that sounds like a drum. Like a tim
Frogs have eardrums on the outside of their heads. Where frogs don't have an internal ear as humans do. They do have an inner ear and middle ear and outer ear drum or tympanum. So when you see the eyes and the nose area, it's kind of like it's in the same various position, but it's very clearly marked. Like I'm looking at a few different pictures and you can see the drum. That's
interesting.
Really interesting.
So it's stabbed now with a water arm.
Yes.
And I imagine if you stab through someone's eardrum into their brain, probs they're dead now.
I would imagine so. It doesn't sound like the kind of thing you would be able to stick a plaster on and get on with it. You know?
Just put a maxi pad there.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You'll be miraculously healed when you take it off.
That only happens if they're orange.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
But I did kind of like the giant frog, even though it was an absolute dick.
Right.
I like the imagery of it.
Yeah. Me too.
I thought that was cool. And I like the idea of the giant otters in the other town.
Yes.
That got destroyed by the giant frog.
Yeah. When the giant frog is ear murdered, and
you want some garlic butter and just a light medium heat on the saucepan.
No.
Good eatings on a frog leg.
No. I'm just completely thrown off now.
My work is done.
I don't like that. So he falls through the water. He is not eaten. He falls through the water. Does he fall and crash through people's homes? Because
no, what happens is the same as what happened to Nadia. He's fallen through the door as well, and while she's regressed to her 9-year-old state, he has regressed to the age that he was when he came through the door. So he's just this little frog
he's
in the
just
turtle
a little
pond.
tadpole.
Yeah.
I don't think he fell through a door.
You don't know anything.
That's true. I don't know. I don't know if he fell through a door, or if he fell into a saucepan, or if he fell to the bottom of the rivers. But I hope he didn't fall to the bottom of the rivers, because the rivers are deep and people live there. And I would really hate for your house to be crushed by a giant frog.
Well, yeah, but there's also wildlife down there. The giant fish that'll start eating them.
Maybe he became dinner. Yeah. He's dinner for a giant
the fish do not get garlic butter so lightly sauteed.
No, they don't.
Oh.
They don't.
Not at all. How much did her adopted parents freaking suck? Evangelical missionaries coming to a Russian orphanage with epic paperwork, probably just paid a lot of people off.
Yeah.
To go and cherry pick some quote unquote pity cases.
Yeah, that was horrible.
They aren't pity cases, they are people.
Yeah.
So they can be all flashy and showy at the church.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And don't eradicate her culture.
No. I think in this instance the mother is 100,000 times worse than the father.
Yes, I agree. I think the father wants to just try to make her happy and try and help her adjust. And he won't. I think Russian's a hard language to learn. English
and he was trying.
Yes, and he was trying, but I think it's a case of the mother is a horrible person and just didn't bother, and I think she would bully the father.
Yeah, definitely.
And whereas he's going to try and keep up some certain conversational Russian with Nadia, because he's been beaten by the mum, bullied by the mum, he's not gonna do it. But also it is a case of, unless you really, really want to do something, you're not going to put 100% into it, or you're just not going to keep trying at it. And I don't think either of them are hugely invested in actually learning Russian and being better parents to their adopted daughter.
Yeah.
It really annoyed us when the mother, and I use that term very loosely, was like, I want you to go to the turtle pond too. She's going to love you more because you've taken her on an outing. Well, no, she needed an outing. She needed some time. She needed to do something for her. There was nothing for her. They had painted her bedroom, bought all the clothes, done everything. They didn't know her personality.
Mm-mm.
And that really annoyed us.
Yeah. And also, she was like, well, I was out grocery shopping. Like, that's the worst thing in the entire world. And I was so busy doing all the important things. And you just went to the turtle pond. Like, she just seems horrible in every single way.
Yeah. And it really made me sad that she came back to this world.
Yeah.
To them.
And I don't remember when she gets to Eleanor's school. I don't know how old she is. And normally at the end of these origin stories, I feel like there is a hint of them going on to Eleanor's, but it didn't happen this time.
No. I don't remember if at Eleanor's she had a prosthetic either. I think even if she did, she wouldn't wear it.
No, I don't think that she did have one because, I mean, it was eaten by the frog. Yeah. And I can only think that, like, the mother, when she gets back home, the mother's like, oh, yeah, I'm so sure a frog ate your arm. Well, as punishment, you're not going to get another one. And then she'll be like, ha-ha, hooray!
Oh, no, don't do that.
But man, she had a river arm, and that was so cool.
That was cool. These dolls freaking suck.
They really do. Who is your favorite character?
Burien. I mean,
Same.
come on. Giant turtle. Hello.
Yeah. Bestie turtle, for sure. Were you surprised by anything? The door being a dick? Wait, no. That's not surprising at all. That's not surprising at all.
That's upsetting, not surprising anymore.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know if I want to marry someone who tried to kill me as a kid.
10 years do seem to go by. People can change in the 10 years.
I feel like I would hold a grudge.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it depends on the person. It's an enemies to lovers story, really.
I don't know.
It's an enemies to lovers story with a giant turtle.
No, that makes it sound like she fell in love with a giant turtle.
That will exist somewhere.
I'd probably be more okay with that than what happened. I don't know how I feel about Alexei.
I think Alexei was, I don't know, he's a young, stupid kid.
Yeah, and
he was young enough to learn. And given what you said, what we find out about his parents, his dad, and coming from where he did, I think he's been indoctrinated into that negative way of thinking.
Yeah, and he turned around from it, so that's good.
And the fact that she goes home and she's like, oh, I hope he's not mad at me. You're trying to, rescue that woman. He's like, no, I know exactly who you are and what you are. And he's happy for her to go off and be an adventurer and face danger and stuff. He's very supportive of her.
Yeah.
So I think he's just a dumb kid. But it's at that stage where I think he is young enough to be able to say he's a dumb kid, not an 18-year-old. don't ruin his life kind of dumb kid. He is literally a child who learnt within a split second what was wrong.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
But you still don't have to be do the husband and wife thing. You could just be friends.
Yeah, I would have been okay with that.
It would have made going back to being 9 a bit easier because you haven't had a sex life.
Yeah.
I just can't get my head around that.
No, that's going to really fuck her up. Yeah.
Okay.
Should we move on to favorite final thought quote?
Yes.
Okay. What you got?
Let's do a big one and a small one. Because it's that short.
It's very short. Very, very short.
Here's the long one. Humans are curious things. They want to know. They want the answers to questions that had no business ever being asked. And so, they're never truly sure of anything. Not even their own desires. They're too busy chasing their tails to see the rabbits. And the short one. A future is a monster of its own breed. Different for everyone. And ever inescapable.
I like those. I have a few.
Love yours.
Trust is an important gift, difficult to give and easy to break. But if you trust me, I shall do my best to trust you and believe you when you speak to me.
Ooh.
I also like, no one can warn the eager and excited away from their own future. And there had been storms before. There would be storms again.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice, but it's horrible, but it's nice.
Right. It's is it
It's
one
a beautiful
sad? Is it one
phrase.
sad or is it half a sad?
I think it's melancholy.
Oh, okay. Sure. Is it time for Would You Rather?
It is. We asked on social media, would you rather ride a giant turtle or a giant otter? And on Facebook, it was 60% to ride the giant otter. And on Instagram, it was 67% to ride the giant turtle. Bit of a split. Very close.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have some comments. Emily on Facebook said, I love otters, so I want to ride with them. They're so cute and cuddly. Also, have you seen the videos of a mother otter teaching their pups how to float? It's so adorable.
Coral on Facebook says, both. But if I have to choose, I will go with otter fluffy. Goodness, I want to cuddle it.
Cindy on Facebook said, otters are sweet.
Annie on Facebook says, I love turtles.
Katrina on Facebook said, this was a tough one since both sound fun and I love otters a little more and they would be comfortable to ride.
Mystery Reader 69 on Instagram said, well, I have ridden a giant tortoise at the St. Louis Zoo.
Should you be doing that? Should you be riding a giant tortoise?
I mean,
I want to ride a giant tortoise.
Yeah?
But still. Anyways, Headzilla on Instagram said, gotta be the turtle. I like a good otter as much as the next guy. They're cute and all, but you've got to wonder if by becoming giant, they'll suddenly become terrifying beasts who inevitably consume us all. Turtles, though, you can trust a turtle. We already have giant tortoises, and turtles already get pretty big, so we have at least an idea how that one's going to go. Plus, there's also a Discworld reference in there as well, if you look at it a little bit, and we could all do with a bit more Discworld.
Finally, Marketing Master 33 on Instagram says, would love to ride on a giant otter.
Well, I would love to ride on a giant turtle.
I feel like I'm going to choose otter because even though we don't know any otters and, you know, based on the story, you would be more drawn to the turtles if you read this, if you read the story. I'm going to do a giant otter. I feel like it would be faster than a turtle. So I'm gonna choose the otter for speed. Speed otters.
So otters can swim 7 miles an hour. And a turtle can swim around 22 miles an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay. I take it back then.
They usually cruise at about 0.9 to 5.8 miles per hour.
Okay. Well, I guess I was wrong.
I think... yeah, I mean, otters are strong swimmers, but they are also land-dwelling creatures.
Yeah,
whereas a
so
turtle is...
Maybe I meant they'll be faster on land.
Okay.
So I'm not wrong.
No, you're not wrong. On land, a turtle can go 3 miles an hour. So there you go. You win the land race.
Thank you.
But turtles win the water race.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to be wet all the time.
I mean, that's true. But in this world, as being the Lord of my and Master of all I survey, June, would you rather?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get crinkly and sore skin. It
Okay.
doesn't slough off.
Okay.
Salt water doesn't affect me. I'm all great. And it's the same with the otters, you know? You're going to be wet as well.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
It's all good.
Yeah.
No crinkly skin.
Would you rather adventure overland or stick to the river? And I literally just said I don't want to be wet all the time, so I'm going over the land.
I'm going to go the river because I'm on a turtle, and turtles should be in the river.
I feel like there's more to explore on the land in this instance because everyone lives below the river. So I
Potentially.
feel like you could discover more.
I'm going to go
on the
further
land.
out though.
Doing it.
You go by land, I'll go by sea, and we'll meet on the other side.
Okay.
Bring treasures.
Okay.
Would you rather encounter a bear or a frog or a wolf? The frog is the only known quantity here.
Frogs are giant. Are they also giant bears and also giant wolves, or are they regular size bears and wolves?
Lord and Master. I could say a fox. Should I add fox in there?
Maybe. Can I just become best friends with the fox?
Yes.
I will choose best friend fox.
Do you want the older fox or do you want the grand?
I want the older fox.
I kind of think
Fox
want a
classic.
Fox classic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
OG fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want the frog. I respect the frog. The frog can keep away from me though. I don't know, wolf and bear. If the bear's nice, I'm gonna go with bear. I'm gonna get bear, but it's gonna be a nice bear.
Okay.
Who is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I would rather meet a nice bear who is nice than a frog or a wolf.
Yeah.
But if we add in fox, I want to become best friends with fox.
We'll add in fox and you can become best friends with fox.
Okay, I like
OG
that.
fox.
OG fox. Original fox. Would you rather your river arm be able to turn into a rope or a sword?
A sword ofs.
Yeah, but if it was a rope, you could lasso.
No, yes, but no sword.
Oh, imagine how good of a mime you would be. You know, because the mime always does that thing and they're pulling on the rope.
Stop it. No, mime is the lowest form of entertainment. Stop it. And here's my head going, sword, murder spree,
Sure.
never get caught.
Yeah, of course. Obviously. Obviously, you choose the sword.
You're mine. You're mine now.
You never choose the mime.
You chose mine.
No, I just questioned.
Quite clearly mine. You want to be
No,
a mime.
I do not want to be a
secret
mime.
desires to become a mime.
No, that's not true. No,
You're not.
don't
No.
put that on me.
You put that on you.
I don't want to be a mime. don't want to be a mime. I want to be a murderer.
I accept your resignation as a mime, and I will upgrade you to a murderer.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so murderer or mime is not on this next question, but would you rather be a farmer, a fisher, or a scout? Not a murderer or a mime.
Not a murderer or a mime. Well, I'm really liking growing tomatoes right now, so that's kind of fun. I don't really want to be a fisher because I don't want to have to clean the fish. And I wouldn't mind being a scout. I think I'm going to be a farmer.
I'm going to say scout. I don't do well with plants. I put them in pots, water them, and then leave them alone, and that's probably why they keep dying, but yeah. I'm not very good with the plants. Let's not do that.
I feel like a farmer is the safest option, minus the one who fell down to the bottom of the river.
Well, I don't think that was due to hazardous farming.
Hazardous farming.
I don't think she was performing hazardous farming.
No, you're really right.
No, I'm going to do scout and, like, on the turtle, sticking into the river with my sword.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No mimes allowed.
No mimes. It's going to be the rule of my village. Number 1 is no mimes.
No mimes allowed.
No.
Okay. If you liked this, try this. What do you suggest?
I had freaking no clue.
Same.
Genuinely no clue.
Same.
Not
we
at
went through
all.
a whole year trying to find Portal fantasies.
So, do you know what I did?
You went to the
I
internet?
went and had a look to see what's being recommended on Hoopla and Libby and stuff, and just see what people are talking about. And so it is linked. People have read Adrift and have also read this, but I mean, you could say that about any book.
Yeah. That's basically how I achieved mine as well.
Yes. I will say I have seen this book around. It's The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Young. I've seen it around. It looks very sweet. It looks very magical. So I suppose there are some very #tenuous links.
Okay.
And I've seen some gorgeous special edition variations of it. But I've also heard good things just generally. So there we go. So the summary from Goodreads. A wandering fortune teller finds an unexpected family in this warm and wonderful debut fantasy, perfect for readers of Travis Baldry and Sangu Manadana. And we like Travis Baldry.
We do.
Tao is an immigrant fortune teller travelling between villages with just her trusty mule for company. She only tells small fortunes, whether it will hail next week, which boy the barmaid will kiss, when the cow will calve. She knows from bitter experience that big fortunes come with big consequences. Even if it's a lonely life, it's better than the one she's left behind. But a small fortune unexpectedly becomes something more when a semi-reformed thief and an ex-mercenary recruit her into their desperate search for a lost child. Soon they're joined by a baker with a need for adventure, and there is a pun in that. And of course, a slightly magical cat. Tao sets down a new path with companions as big-hearted as her fortunes are small, but as she lowers her walls and her shadows of her past are closing in, she'll have to decide whether to risk everything to preserve the family she never thought she could have. So this found family, which is very weird with children. There's magical elements, which are very weird with children. Adventure. So there are some tenuous links in that one.
Yeah.
What have you got?
I found one in a similar fashion to you finding yours, called The In-Between Bookstore by Edward Underhill. When Darby finds himself unemployed and in need of a fresh start, he moves back to the small Illinois town he left behind. But Oak Falls has changed almost as much as he has since he left. One thing is familiar: in between books. Darby's refuge growing up, an eventual high school job. When he walks into the bookstore now, Darby feels an eerie sense of déjà vu. Everything is exactly the same. Even the newspapers are dated 2009. And behind the register is a teen who looks a lot like Darby did at 16, who just might give Darby the opportunity to change his own present for the better, if he can figure out how before his connection to the past vanishes forever.
Ooh.
It gave me vibes of The Shop Where Lost Things Go, and also The Grimmer. Do you remember The Grimmer? That one was so fun.
Yes, I was getting those vibes as well.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Do we have any new and indie spotlight?
We do. This one came to us just last week, I believe. It's called The Lifesaver by C.N. Steinhauer, and it comes out July 12th. As I drop to my knees beside him, I feel a spark of recognition. Tristan Chevalier, from my school, my grade, way too young to die. When Avery Taylor stumbles across an unconscious classmate in the river, #tenuous link, he fears a life is at stake. Although his quick actions are enough to save Tristan, Avery's left with more questions than answers about that fateful night. What was Tristan doing in the river in the first place? Could all the rumors about him be true? And why should Avery care so much anyway? So, we wonder about Tristan. Maybe he came through a door.
Oh, bloody doors.
I mean, probably not. Probably that's not what happened, but that might be less sad than what actually did happen. But we don't know because we haven't read this book because it hasn't come out yet.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
TBC.
So that's it for this episode of Fictional Hangover. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire.
Join us next time as we discuss Something is Killing the Children, Volume 1 by James Tynion IV. Look out for our Would You Rather polls and monthly challenges on social media. Don't forget about our book club on Discord. Be sure to visit our shop on Redbubble at fictionalhangover.redbubble.com for all your favorite Fictional Hangover-themed merchandise, and become a patron of ours on Patreon at patreon.com/fictionalhangover. Until next time, remember, the only cure for a fictional hangover is another book.
You can find us at fictionalhangover.com and follow us on all social media at Fictional Hangover. If you like this episode, check out our others and be sure to rate, review and subscribe so you don't miss out. Thanks for listening.